Biggs recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member Weber. This has been an interesting hearing. Thank you for your presentations, all of you coming today. Dr. Hayes, I want to just kind of dovetail, if I can, a little bit on the discussion that was going on, because you mentioned the price has gone up I think 450% during your career of helium, which indicates to me that either the demand has exceeded the supply, or you've had an increasing scarcity. And I'm assuming that it's the latter, that's an increasing scarcity. Maybe it's both, a combination of both. So can you kind of define that for me, why the price has gone up?
The price is related to scarcity, as you say, indeed. Okay. And again, this is outside my special expertise, so I wouldn't want to attribute it to any one cause, but certainly we have seen increasing demand for helium worldwide. It's used heavily in the electronics industry, for example. Okay. So I think that it's both factors.
Okay, so and one of the ways to resolve it is both the way Dr. Foster said, is finding alternatives to helium, and what you've also said is reuse, recovery, and recycling. Yes. So there's a third alternative, and this is the part I had known nothing about, because I don't know where we find helium. If we were talking copper and molybdenum, I could tell you about that, but I can't tell you about helium. But so, are there other markers? I mean, when you're finding, when people are exploring and developing, I mean, if we're talking oil and gas, we would know that there's a field. We would be looking at geologic formation. We could kind of accurately, as we explore, we could see how much we're going to have. Tell me about helium. How do we find helium? What are our other markers that go with it? Is it coming with nitrogen? Do we find it with other gases? How's that work?
Currently, we extract helium through the process of extracting natural gas.
Okay.
So it comes along for the ride. It is not in all natural gas deposits. And for it to be economically viable, I understand from others who are in this industry that you need roughly 1% of the makeup of that natural gas deposit. And it's because the natural gas is trapped underground by rock formations, and luckily for us, the helium is there as well. If I may, let me put something into context for you. A single balloon of helium, a party balloon, if I do a back-of-the-envelope calculation on a pad of paper, the number of gas molecules that are there are coming about because of radioactive decay of uranium and thorium underground. That balloon takes an amount of 1/2 pound of uranium that I could hold in the palm of my hand. It takes it 1 billion years to decay on that order. Wow. So we are constantly making more underground, but it's an atom at a time. So I favor recycling for that reason, because we just don't want to let it escape the atmosphere.
Right. Very good. Thank you. That's very informative. And I'm glad you mentioned uranium, because I come from Arizona. And in Arizona, we have significant reserves of copper and uranium. And the President and his administration has protected our national economic security from reliance on foreign supplies of critical minerals, ostensibly, including uranium. But we're having trouble actually developing uranium. We're fighting that right now. The U.S. Geological Survey's list of 35 critical minerals encompasses materials, as you know, for clean energy production, nuclear deterrence, and enabling smartphones, et cetera, around the world. But instead of buying from the domestic uranium mining companies, we are looking to China for uranium right now, and other countries. We import almost 99% of our uranium, and that makes it really, really a security risk for us, and that's something we should be aware of. And so I think we should be exploring all those options. And so I'm going to ask each one of you, in the brief time I have left, is we've talked about these things. If you can kind of expand and advance the idea of what you use with industry partners, specifically those who might be in the academic world. What do industry partners do with you, and how do they support your efforts? And if you can expand on that for me. So Dr. Handwerker, let's start with you. We'll go this way. Okay, great.
So one of the important parts of the working with industry to see whether something could be economical is we delve into the economics in great gory detail to see what it would take to actually be competitive. And without doing that, then if we fall short, then it's not like horseshoes. It really matters that we have gotten the economics right. And with the economics challenges come the scientific challenges, because it doesn't come for free. It's not like we can just marginally change the science to have these breakthroughs. So by working with industry, really from the very earliest possible steps, then we can see what science that has already been developed that we can't use because it has, it falls short of the economic, the environmental concerns as well. And so that's key. And also knowing in the end that we've done everything we could at the point of handoff, at early stage but late enough stage, that we've mitigated the risk for the companies, because without the companies having those risks mitigated, they're not going to be able to get the capital needed to move forward.
And I'm going to recognize Ms. Stevens now for 5 minutes.